Finally, after years, the Forever Summon has been updated with a whole new lineup, which means we can renew the Hoodoo Forever Summon. We have a lot of good picks here, especially with the new characters getting added to it. There is so much goodness you can get from the Forever Summon now, including characters that are still insanely powerful even in the Ascended era. Fire still has some pretty good options, but nowadays a lot of the characters that are insanely good that you can still pick up from Mono Fire and the Forever Summon, you can usually get from the Unit of Choice ticket. However, there's some that you still can't get from the UOC ticket. One of the characters that are still worth picking up is Berwick. He's a fantastic unit that gives tons of damage ups to fire allies. He also is able to Archon for everyone, which is incredible. He literally does it instantaneously. His Magia Drive's pretty strong too. As soon as you get into it, you pop it again, it refunds you 200 Arcage, and you get 100% crit. Berwick should be getting a Dream Awakening, and his Dream Awakening is pretty solid, so that's going to make him a bit stronger in that regard as well. The other few characters though that I want you guys to look at are going to be Fire Orville, Charlotte, and Summer Sistina. Fire Orville is a crazy DPS character. Even now in the Ascendant era, he still has quite a bit of damage on him and can still do so much work. And if I'm not mistaken, he's required for one of the Mono Fire floors. It may have changed nowadays, but back in the day whenever he came out, I know that he definitely was like extremely dominant in that game mode. But if you have Star God Lisa, regular Lisa, or anybody that's buffing up equipment CT, Fire Orville will be spamming his Liberation equip over and over, getting more and more crit damage, going off with all of his stuff. And yeah, you're going to see crazy damage with this man. Also, he's a magic damage character. Charlotte is still really good. It's just a universal damage buff character that could be used in nukes or even in sustain comps if you just want a bit more damage for your team. And finally, we have Summer Sistina, which sure, she's not an Ascended character, but my god, this girl still hits like a freaking truck. Her modifier scales off of her max HP stat, and if you're able to buff up that max HP stat through different levels of equips, through maybe different boss stages or whatever, you can start seeing insane damage numbers with her. Water's most attractable option when it came to the Forever Summon has actually shifted. Used to, I would say, would probably be Thetis, just as a new player, because this guy's insane, and he does lots of work as just a taunt tank. And he's still really good, but he wouldn't be the first option I recommend now. My first option I'd recommend would actually be 12G, aka Mizuki the 12. This man's able to give Art Gauge, he's able to cleanse the entire team. Also, as soon as you go into Third Eye, you give everyone 100 Art Gauge. I feel like this is still one of the strongest Awoken characters in the game, and the fact that we now can get him from the Forever Summon is ridiculously powerful for all players out there. As mentioned before, after 12th generation Mizuki, I would highly recommend you guys get Thetis if you see him. After that, Valerie's really good in mono water settings as still just a damage buffer. Summer Lisa's still pretty okay as well if you want a character that can buff up your team's damage a bit more. Next is the Earth Element, and Earth Element, it really hasn't changed too much since the last one. You're still looking for Haruto. Haruto, even nowadays, is going to be an insane asset to you if you don't have other Archtuners available to you or other support units. Having a character that gives you Arc Gauge, healing, and an arts damage buff is invaluable. If you are brand new to the game and you don't have anything when it comes to Archtuners, this would be the character that I recommend you pick up. After Haruto for Mono Earth, you can also look at stuff like Volti LR. This guy is a insane taunt tank that mainly counters physical damage but can really be used practically everywhere. And the last character I'd recommend you pick up is Sistina. She's not as crazy as she was back then. Still, this is a character that gives you quite a bit. You get a barrier, Art Gauge, you also get a physical damage buff on top of a damage res down. Next is the Light Element, which has a lot of characters that are insanely good as well. Emperor is a big one here that I would say is probably the best to get from this list still, even though we do have BF Emperor and stuff like that. If you do not have another type B Archtuner, this Emperor can still prove to be quite a force to be reckoned with. Tons of Arc Gauge, a stats up on the art, not to mention he has 150% damage up to gods, demons, or humans depending on what slot you put him in, and he's able to give you various buffs that benefit your team so much. And this is another character that is extremely high priority as a brand new player. If you had someone like Haruto or you had someone else that was a type B Archtuner, then you wouldn't want to go for Emperor because they won't stack Archtuner. But if you don't have a type B Archtuner and you need someone that can just really hard carry the Archtuner department, look no further than Emperor himself. Sistina, just like her brother Fire Orville, is incredible and is another character that you should absolutely be looking out for. She's incredible in Mono Light, incredible in any other physical team, as a healer or just a sub attacker that's able to reduce the enemy's physical res. This unit even nowadays still has so much utility. Highly recommend you get her if you don't have her. Another character that can still get quite a bit of use out of will be Juno. Juno is another pretty high priority target on this list. The thing is about Juno is that she doesn't stack with characters like Emperor or Haruto. So if you want to put, like, just for an example, Haruto, Emperor, and Juno as like your top 3 choices that you should get from this forever summon, hey, that sounds great. Just make sure that if you already have one of these 3 units that you don't go for them because they're all type B arch shitters and they will not stack with each other. After Juno, the last character that I would say somewhat recommend, and this is really only if you don't have like War God Finn or Star God Lisa or someone else that's able to offer this buff, it would be Lisa herself, OG Lisa. OG Lisa is still pretty okay. Nothing's really wrong with her, but if you need a character that just speeds up your equips a bit more, just so you can see the power of having someone like War God Finn or Star God Lisa on your team or BF Emperor, you could get this Lisa to kind of give you a taste of it. Because yeah, if you have those units or you plan on summoning for those characters in the future, then you may not want to pick up Lisa because she's going to get quickly thrown off the team. The next and final element is Dark. Let's start with the biggest one. Forte, even to nowadays standards, is an incredible nuke support character. As soon as you load into a quest, she's going to be giving everybody 50 arc gauge. This arc gauge also stacks with Tactics, which is the arc gauge buff that War God Finn and Dark Finn gives. She has incredible slots for nuking that will just get even better if you have insane equips. Forte, still a top tier character in the nuking setting. You gotta love her. After Forte, I would actually recommend picking up Simon for nuking, specifically if you want to get into nuking, and also if you just want a character that buffs up his accuracy and also is able to defense ignore. Really good stuff here. Another one is going to be Luan, because Luan is a bleed character, and if you do not have a bleed unit, picking up this guy could be invaluable to you because there are some story bosses that you do have to inflict a bleed onto them to even deal damage to them. Another character too that you can pick up will be Duke. Duke's a pretty solid breaker, and he's one of the only breakers on this list that you actually can't get from like a unit of choice ticket or something. And the final character, which will be a bit more of a long-term investment than anything, will be Dark Haruto. And that's because the True Awakening that will be coming out sometimes this year is kind of crazy. It's a little bit potent. It buffs up his Phantom Bullets damage to 150,000% and also gives him 15% more attack. And he's a bleed character as well, so you know you can benefit from that. But definitely gonna be able to do some crazy nukes with him and blow up a lot of different bosses with that kind of a multiplier. And ladies and gentlemen, that is my list. The characters that I mainly focused on were characters that are going to be benefiting new players the most, and also if you're more of intermediate players, you will be able to get some benefit from these units if you do not have them. Of course, if you still have questions about this forever summon even after this video, highly recommend you check out my Discord. There's tons of people in there that will be more than happy to help you pick out who to forever summon. Or if you want to ask me directly, then you can of course hit me up on the YouTube comments down below or go to my Twitter and hit me up there. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for this video. Tell me down below what you guys are going to be picking for your forever summon. My forever summon list this time around is mainly just this. I'm picking up anybody that's here because these are the only characters that I'm missing. So if I see any of these guys pop up for me, huge dubs. If you enjoyed this video though, highly recommend check out this video that we posted the other day. We showed off the brand new Haruto and the man's kind of cracked. I'll meet you over there, but before you leave, don't forget to drink water.